Hello again, and welcome back to another episode of Adventures in Book Hunting. Uh, Subject of this video is the results of another online estate auction that I participated in, I believe successfully. You can be the judge after we're through with this. Um, w- Obviously, I cultivate my social media algorithms, email lists, all those sorts of things for any potential book hunting opportunity. Um, and a couple weeks ago, I was alerted to this particular auction. Looked through the online catalog. There were books in it, the books you see here. And from what I could see in the materials that you could view online, not a lot of it, I did not have a lot of enthusiasm for what I saw. Looking through it, looked like there were about 3 dozen books, maybe 4 or 5 of which may have had any interest in at all. Minimum bid was going to be $2, but it's one of those situations where, do I really want to pay $2? And then I realized that this bookshelf, this aluminum frame bookshelf, was also part of the auction lot. And by the time I realized that, someone had already bid on it, minimum bid. And so I thought, well, maybe I would like to have this little metal frame bookshelf. Uh, I think it'd be a good size for paperbacks, and I could certainly use the space to organize, and I think I know how I can fit it into my library. Given that, I decided I will go ahead and bid. And I bid, I went, as I do with these sorts of things, I bid the maximum amount I was willing to pay for the bookshelf, just the bookshelf. I didn't consider the books in the bid at all. Um, And at the end of the auction, I basically got the bookshelf and the books for one step up. After the buyer's premium was a little more than $5. So went today and got my bookshelf, and unfortunately, my books. And I thought I would go through the books that I did get, just to give you an idea of sometimes what you see when you're out in the real world book hunting, because I thought this was a good sampling of what you might find just in an average household that actually has books. You go into plenty of houses and there's not a book to be found. Maybe a family Bible, maybe a dictionary, but been in plenty of homes where there were no books at all. Um, and I joke that most of the time when you go into an average house, you find some cookbooks, maybe some popular authors, maybe some reference books, and that's generally about it. Generally, not a lot of exciting stuff. Anyway, let's go through this, and I think I will call it a little bit as I go. But yes, I got myself a nice bookshelf, but I had to take the books. First off, let's go through the cookbooks. There are like 4 of them. Oh, and if my count is accurate, 34 books plus some magazines and other ephemera. But anyway, this is a Taste of Georgia cookbook. Front cover missing. No, not keeping. And I don't know that I know anybody who would want it. I had a couple of these in this haul. Um, a couple of church cookbooks. This one is from the Lighthouse Tabernacle Apostolic Church in Princeton, West Virginia, which of course is close by. Um, might hold on to it just in case there's somebody who might be interested in it. Not familiar with that church or its location, but it can't be too far away. It's got a Princeton address. Let's see. Here's a church I do know. The cookbook from the Key Street Methodist Church. And, if you don't know how these things work, members of the church contribute recipes. Someone prints it, formats it, and then generally they sell these to raise money for the church project. Um, just like the Lighthouse Tabernacle Church cookbook. Might keep it for a little while, see if I can find anybody locally who might be interested in it. But once again, this was the only, I'm not mistaken, the only commercial cookbook I found in here. A Betty Crocker, 30 minutes or less in the kitchen, come home to dinner, 350 delicious recipes. problem with books like these, at least in my opinion, is they don't teach you how to cook. They show you what to cook. I think it's more accurate to call these recipe books, because that's what you get, recipes rather than actual cooking technique or advice. Um, I'm gonna run. I'm going to send the link to this video to some folks who might be interested in some of this stuff. If they don't want it though, I'll find a good home for it. Except for that first cookbook, I don't intend to throw any of the stuff away. Well, there might be one more, but in any event, we'll try and find all these books good homes. This next book is a novel by Andrew Clavin, and if that name sounds familiar to you, let's see if they got a picture of the author. They do not. Andrew Clavin is one of the contributors to the Daily Wire. And many people might not know that he writes suspense, mystery, thrillers, those sorts of things. Like I say, most of the books in this collection were in pretty good shape. This one's no exception. Once again, might be able to find someone who can use it. Wall of Brass by Robert Daly. I've heard of Robert Daly. This is the kind of books he normally does, police procedural stuff. Once again, it's in real nice condition. So I'll see if any of my bookshop friends are interested in maybe getting it to try and sell. Oh, this is something interesting. You'll see this a lot out in the lot. This is a good example of it. See that list of 4 initials? And I think this is kind of neat. And I don't know how far this goes in book reading culture, but oftentimes in the wild, you'll see a book with initials in it, and particularly with this kind of fiction, where you get tons and tons of fiction along a similar line, people will get a book, put their initials in it, signifying that they've read it, pass it on to someone else, and this was read by at least 4 people from the looks of it. But that way, if you're out looking for another police procedural, you'll know not to get this one. If you happen to see that in books when you're out book hunting, that's typically what that's about. Here's the other one that I don't know about. It's volume 4 of the Childcraft Children's Encyclopedia. This is a World Book Encyclopedia product. This one's kind of old. You can tell from the art. Yeah, it's a 15 volume set. This is number 4. This is an old one. This is older than me. This one is from 1961. On second thought, I may have to do a little research on it. I can't imagine it has a lot of value, but you never know until you look. Oh, let's get her next. There were a couple of novels from Adriana Trajani. Milk Glass Moon, which I believe is one of her Big Stone Gap books. Let me see here. Yeah, a Big Stone Gap novel. I've read a couple of her books. They're okay. I'm not a big fan. But there were 2 in this set. The other one is Rococo. Yeah, New York Times bestselling author of the Big Stone Gap trilogy and other books. But this one got the sticker on it, says autographed copy. And there's her autograph. Because of that, I bet the bookstore might want it. So definitely keeping this one. And I'll see if they want this one too. Adriana Trajani is actually somewhat of a local author. She's from Southwest Virginia. And that helps, that helps in remarkability in the region. Okay. There's a classic, Eudora Welty. 3 books in 1, The Golden Apples, Losing Battles, and Fonder Heart. An omnibus collection, a big paperback. I've got, I believe, a Library of America volume by Eudora Welty. Yeah, this is a quality paperback. s- I'm sure the store would take this. And and throughout this, if I say store, I'm talking about the Hatter Bookshop. Um, 'Cause I donate a lot of stuff to. But they probably will. Yeah, they might well take this. They're always on the hunt for classics. College students especially come in looking for this stuff. So and that was one of the 4 or 5 books that really caught my eye and said, well, you might be willing to bid $2 just to get the books. But I thought better of it. This next one is a popular novel, The Seven and a Half Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Tartan. Let's see, when was this published? Yeah, 2018. I know the book's had it a few times. I think I may have even hauled it once with the store before. So there's 1 5 that came in that well, might be worth getting. Okay, but most of this stuff did not thrill me at all. And the farther we go into this, the more you'll see. Let's do some of these. Yeah, got a couple that are somewhat related. We got 2 of Mary Higgins Clark, No Place Like Home, and Mount Vernon Love Story, a story of George and Martha Washington. Um, Mary Higgins Clark is in a category of writers I refer to as talented typists, and I really don't mean that as an insult. I got I I can't remember where I picked up the term. It's not my original term. It was either Harlan Ellison or John Varley, a couple of different science fiction writers, who refer to Danielle Steele and Sidney Shelton as talented typists. And basically, all I mean by it is popular authors sell a lot of books and publish a lot of stuff. And it's not my thing. I don't. My grandmother read a lot of Mary Higgins Clark when she was alive. But other than that, I don't know anybody personally who'd be interested in it. And the problem with donating this to the bookstore is they get a lot of this already in trade. Of course, I'll run this by and see if they could have use for it. But the issue you have with running a bookstore is space for your inventory. So you have to be a little bit choosy. Um, I will see if anyone is interested. Would not be shocked if they're not. Oh, uh, Jeffrey Archer, a book called Trader's Gate, writes thrillers. I know him well. I don't know if I necessarily call him a talented typist, but he's close. He's talented typist adjacent. Right. Here's a book. Never heard of. Actually, you never heard the author. Well, Diane Chamberlain. Does anybody know anything about Diane? My guys, it looks like something suspenseful, supernatural even. Once again, I'll run it by my people, see if they're interested. Uh, hmm. Anne Lamont's Plan B for the Thoughts on Faith. Uh, this looks like nonfiction. Yes, it is a biography. Hmm. Uh, Riverhead Books. It's published right now. First printing, first edition. Anybody know anything about this one? Uh, looks like I would think a romance novel. Oh, Bethany House, which is a Christian publisher. So, inspirational romance. Problem is this: there's tons and tons of it. I don't know anything about it. Ooh, this looks a little more interesting than in the picture. Sawed Off Justice by Lynn Franklin with Maury Green. I wonder why Lynn Franklin needed help. But there they are. Uh, it's like crime fiction. Also, oh, it's from Putnam. Hmm. Well, like I say, once again, I don't know anything about it. I suspect this will go into my donate box. Um, I donate a lot of books to places like, uh, well, public libraries, Goodwills, those kind of things. That's probably where a lot of these are going to go because I just don't know that there's going to be a lot of interest with anybody in my peer group or with the store. Anne Rule, I've seems to me like I've seen Anne Rule more than a few times. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here's another one. Someone has put their initials in and written when they read it. I apparently read this in 2009. Oh, and were kind enough to clip the price off of it. Does anyone know why people do that? I see that from time to time, and I don't get why people do that. I get if you're given, maybe if you're giving somebody a book, you don't want people to know how much you paid for it, so you clip the price. I've got no idea. Right. All right. Oh, an author I do know. I'll I'll try and say her name. Please forgive me. I'll probably get it wrong. Maeve Benchy, uh, writer of many, many books, and has sold tons and tons of books. I have a friend who is a fan. I will run this one by her first before I do anything else with it. But anyway, I don't. I know the author, but don't know anything about the words. Like I said, it's not my thing, so it's kind of a blind spot for me. This one I saw the stem of Rock of Ages, and I was trying to do some research for it. Once again, trying to justify why I might want to spend more than $2 just to get the books. A novel of some sort. Uh, Blurbs on the back say it's Southern Gothic. Might be interesting. You're making me reach. Okay. Uh, this looks like romance. By an author I'm not familiar with. That's from Harper. So, historical romance. Read by more than a few folks, apparently. Biography of Tucker Carlson. And Tucker's got his trademark look of befuddlement. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy listening to Tucker, but no, he always looks like he's just has no clue what's going on. All right. Ooh, this one looks scary. The Visitation. Mm, I bet this is Christian or by Christian publisher. Just has that look about it. Word Publishing. Don't know for sure. Word Publishing, Nashville. Christian suspense. Here's one of the books that actually caught my interest when I was first taking a look at this. It is a collection of essays, poems, letters, stories from the New Yorker from the 1940s. This one, and it's from Modern Library. Like I say, this is one of the 4 or 5 that I thought, I might want to bid $2 because I'll probably keep this one. Yeah, stories, essays, etc. from John Cheever, Langston Hughes, Shirley Jackson, Carson McCullers, Vladimir Nabokov, Ogden Nash, John O'Hara, George Orwell. I'm sold. Yeah, this one is gonna go inside. I'll find a permanent home for this one. Put this one on top. Let's see. Had a couple. Oh, yeah, in the same vein. I still like the 1940s because I got this Time Life publication, Fabulous Century. This was a series they had covering the 20th century, and this is the book for the 1940s, 1940 to 1950. It's a nice book. The texture is like cloth, and it's your basic Time Life publications. You know, photographs, photographic essays of the era. Um, this is probably going to be a donate. I don't know anybody who's going to want it or want to try and sell it, so it'll go to a library or a thrift. There were a couple books here on construction and carpentry. I know a guy who might be interested. This looks almost like a textbook, especially since it's from McGraw-Hill. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, this reeks of being a textbook. I might know somebody who would be interested in it. Like I said, I think I can find that a forever home. Okay, this is one of the books that, looking ahead, it's one of the last ones that actually made me think, hey, I'll bid $2. And it is a book about Frank Sinatra's film career. I'm sure, yeah, tons of pictures. I love the movie posters. The store will probably want this. Oh, God. Look at that. Frank Sinatra and Marlon Brando from Guys and Dolls. Love those clothes. Anyway, oh, I'm sure that's from the Manchurian Candidate. That was a scary movie. Okay, anyway, like I said, I bet the store will want it. I'll offer it to them first. We are getting close to the end. If you'll pardon me, I'm gonna pull the remainder of this stuff closer to me, so I'm not bending and stretching quite as much. Okay. Oh, I just saw something cool. Anyway, novel called A Doubter's Almanac with an indestructible Ollie sticker on it. If you book hunt, you learn to despise the Ollie stick. Probably going to be a generic donate. Okay. Evil Angels, The Case of Lindy Chamberlain. Yeah, this looks like true crime. I think I will put this in the stack for further research. True crime is a very popular genre these days, so like I say, might be able to find a place for it a lot closer to home. Oh, see, now there's a remnants of an Ollie sticker. As I said, virtually indestructible. If there's anyone from Ollie's listening to this ever, why do you do that? People buy books from your store, and believe me, I've shopped the book section of your store many, many times. Why must the stickers be virtually irremovable? I don't get it. People want to take these things home. Some people want to keep them forever. They don't want your sticker on it. All right, enough of a rant. But anyway, a novel, The Waning Age by S.E. Grove. Don't know. Oh, Joel C. Rosenberg writes religious thrillers, eschatological stuff, end times kind of things. Yeah, best-selling author of The Last Shahad. Not my thing. Oh, yeah, and it's from a Christian publisher, Tyndale. And you got blurbs from Rush Limbaugh and Tim LaHaye. That's a sign unto me that this probably isn't for me. Um, but Joel Rosenberg, he sells a few books, and I'll tell you what, the real Joel Rosenberg was a fantasy writer who passed away a few years ago. This new guy, I don't know. All right. Let's go through the books real quick. There's 2 books left. And then some magazines and ephemera. And one of those turned out to be pretty cool. Robert the Bruce, King of Scots, a biography of the Scottish king. He was a somewhat ambiguous character in Braveheart, you might remember. Anyway, it's a nice copy too. I already have this book. I have this exact book, but I may swap out because this one looks pristine. This was one of the 5 books I was interested in, just as an upgrade. And the last book is The Whole World Over by Julia Glass, naked hardcover, a little beat up. Once again, it's probably going to be a donate. All right, into the ephemera. Now, what do you think? Magazines, maybe a catalog, those kind of things. But I just saw something in here that is actually pretty cool. A book I had a long time ago. This one, unfortunately, is in really bad shape. There's an envelope in it, which appears to be empty. I guess they were just using an envelope as a bookmark. It's a neat book, but it's, just not in the best of shape. Heavy soiling, whatnot. Oh, wow. Huh. And unlike the one I had, this one has some stuff stapled into the back. Anyway, this is a United States Air Force search and rescue survivor manual. How to survive after you've been shot down, basically. And, how to survive environments, deserts, jungles, water, wilderness survival, how to catch fish, medical stuff, how to find food, orientation, navigation by stars and whatnot. I actually had this book. It's probably a different edition, but yeah, it's an official publication of the Department of the Air Force. I believe probably from the 60s. Oh, I wish it were in better shape. In any event, I had no idea this was in there. I might keep it for a while. Now, the rest of this, just glancing through. All right. Street and Smith's basketball from when? 1977-78. No. Now, here's something interesting that you don't have much anymore. The Monroeville telephone book from Monroeville, Tennessee. Yeah, with yellow pages and everything. I can't imagine there's a secondary market for this kind of stuff. Oh, and if there isn't, it gets thrown away. Okay, the next one, American Rifleman from 1980. Sure, my dad had that in a box someplace. Outdoor Life from 1975. Field and Stream, 76. Now here's some interesting stuff. Oh, let's see. How many do we have? Oh, we got a few. All right. All right. This I will at least look through. This is looks like 7 copies of Wonderful West Virginia magazine from, they look like they're all 1970 to 71. Yeah. Cover price 25 cents. I will look through them at least before I do something with them. And finally, the very last thing in here, the program from the Alabama-Auburn game in 1979, souvenir edition. And in 1979, it cost you $1.50, which is probably a lot of money in those days. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, there are pictures of the cheerleaders. All the stats you need to know. There's Bear Bryant. Oh, I don't know. I know a huge Auburn fan. I will give him first crack at this. In any event, that's all I got. And so once again, tempted to buy just the books for $2, and when somebody else bid on it, I decided not. They, well, you heard me go through it. There was one surprise in here, but maybe 4 or 5 books I was interested in getting. And it just didn't seem worth it to me. Now, when I realized I got the bookcase too, well, like I say, that shifted my whole mindset on it. I'm hunting the bookcase. and it'll be a nice little bookcase, a nice addition to my library. But I have 34 books, the vast majority of which I have, well, and magazines too. I didn't count those. Most of which I have absolutely no use for. That's the way it is. Once again, a nice snapshot of what you would get if you're hunting someone's home. And believe it or not, there are occasions where I get to do that. Um, uh, I call it salvage, typically, because most of the time, what I'm talking about is a situation where someone has a home that's abandoned. It's been sold for taxes or is just eventually sold by people long after anyone has interest in the house. And part of the work I do is involved in that sort of thing. And you'll walk into a house and there'll be books like this. Not uncommon. Nothing horribly exciting. In this case, a little bit of excitement, but most of the time you're thinking, this was pretty much a bust. So, but isn't that the nature of any kind of hunting? Anyway, appreciate you guys sticking through to the end. Um, and I guess that's all I have to say. I gotta start packing up this stuff now, because it's all gotta go someplace. In any event, hope you guys stay safe, have good book hunting, and I will talk to you again soon.